I've always been an alchemist, transmuting what remains after destruction, creating something new, hopefully infusing the innocence, love, and light that was lost, building with broken shards that make my hands bleed. Loss doesn't just come from death, but from what was supposed to be and never will. That feeling of grief swells, and then the almost unthinkable question hits. What next? Welcome to the Obliterated Place for all the brokenhearted, a space dedicated to creating something from the unrecognizable remnants of loss in its many forms. A place to witness one another's grief and choose to honor grief through our actions, big and small. I'm Kaye Steinsapir. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello, this is Kaye Steinsapir. Welcome to my brand new podcast called The Obliterated Place. I'm so happy to be here with you. I have so missed recording podcast episodes and have been working really hard for the past several months on a new podcast for you all. I really kind of took a leap of faith and was sort of experimenting and playing around with podcasting on Substack. And I tend to be a perfectionist, and so sometimes that holds me back from doing things. And I decided, hey, why not just give this a shot? And I wanted to come to you with authenticity, and I wanted you to see me and to hear me and to be as transparent as possible with you. And I commit to doing that as well in this podcast. But I decided, since I really enjoyed podcasting and because I need help with the tech aspects of bringing on guests, I decided to have a company help me put together a podcast. And I really wanted to give thought into what I could offer that would be sort of my highest and best use, would add something of value. I know there are so many podcasts out there, and I know your time is limited. And I'm so appreciative of you coming here and spending any of your time with me. And because I appreciate it so much, I want to come to you with my very, very best. So I'm going to try not to be too perfectionist about it. It didn't hold me back from getting started, but I do now that I've committed to podcasting. I decided I really want to give it my all and put thought into the episodes and bring in some people who actually know what they're doing in terms of podcasting, because I certainly don't. I won't even say I didn't. I still don't. So that is how I have been spending the past few months, in addition to doing all the things that you all know I've been up to, trying to kind of get back on our feet after the Palisades Fire, trying to get our arms around what we need to do to get back home. We're probably still at least about a year away from being able to go back. I've tried to be as helpful to my community as I possibly can during all of this. And I've been really gratified that the Kaye Steinsapir Foundation has been able to play a really important role in helping not only Palisades Fire survivors, but Eaton Fire survivors as well, in real, tangible ways in the past year. And we're going to continue doing that going into 2026. Today is obviously a really, it's funny. I have to stop myself because my today is not the today in which you'll be listening to this, so or watching me. So my today is February 2nd, but when you are watching me or listening to me, the day will be February 15th, 2026, and that day will mean that Molly has not been with us for 5 years. And I don't know how I will feel on that day, if I will be up to podcasting. I'm guessing not. But in this podcasting world, as I'm learning, you have to record things in advance and then upload them, and people do all the things that they do to them. So by the time you listen to this on February 15th, it will be 5 years since we said goodbye to Molly at UCLA Medical Center. And our lives obviously have not been the same and will never be the same. I thought a lot about what I could do to really honor Molly and to um, show her and show everyone and show the world just how much I love her. And so this podcast, The Obliterated Place, is dedicated to my daughter, Molly Olivia Steinsapir, born on October 21st, 2008. Molly, I love you so very much. And everything I do every day is for you, okay? And your brothers and your dad. But I always want to make you proud. And in doing so, I'm always trying to figure out how I can be the best version of myself and how I can be of service to others. And I feel very blessed that I have a life now that can be dedicated to being of service to others. And this podcast, The Obliterated Place, is for you, my love. It is for us to have ripple effects, to bring voices and stories to the world, and hope that they even reach one person that they positively impact. That's my goal. I don't care about money. I don't care about sponsorships. I don't care about clicks or follows. Although, of course, I hope that people appreciate what we're doing. And I hope that all of the stories that we are going to share here on this podcast are heard, and that they find their landing place in the world wherever they are meant to land. So, my friends, let me tell you a bit about the name, The Obliterated Place, because you may be wondering where that came from. And in order for me to tell you that, I've got to do a little bit of reading. I promise this podcast is not going to be me reading to you. But just for today, I need to put on my readers and I need to read to you. The Obliterated Place, that name comes from one of the people who I respect tremendously and whose writing has touched me in ways that I find hard to describe. And I think that's the gift of writing and of storytelling, when your words land inside someone else, in their heart and in their soul, and change them in some way. Cheryl Strayed is an author and a speaker. I've been privileged to meet Cheryl and to learn from her. And The Obliterated Place is inspired by a column that Cheryl wrote in her advice column called Dear Sugar. So I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to read to you an exchange that I had with Cheryl, who has graciously given her permission to me to use this name for my podcast. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you so much. So without further ado, let me read to you the column that inspired me, the words that lodged inside my heart and stayed with me and have stayed with me since I read them. And when I thought about what I was trying to accomplish with this podcast, this is sort of what came back to me. So here I go. All right. So this is from July 1st, 2011. Dear Sugar, number one, it's taken me many weeks to compose this letter. And even still, I can't do it right. The only way I can get it out is to make a list instead of write a letter. This is a hard subject, and a list helps me contain it. You may change it to a regular letter if you wish to, should you choose to publish it. Number 2, I don't have a definite question for you. I'm a sad, angry man whose son died. I want him back. That is all I ask for, and it's not a question. My God, I relate to that. Number 3, I will start over from the beginning. I am a 58-year-old man. Nearly 4 years ago, a drunk driver killed my son. The man was so inebriated, he drove through a red light and hit my son at full speed. The dear boy I loved more than life itself was dead before the paramedics even got to him. He was 22, my only child. Number 4, I'm a father while not being a father. Most days it feels like my grief is going to kill me, or maybe it already has. I'm a living dead dad. By the way, if the person who wrote this letter happens to ever hear me or see me, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. And I send you so much love. And I think about you and your son. Number 5, your column has helped me to go on. I can't explain it, sugar, but it's true. My life has been a lot different from yours, but your big heart moves me. No matter what you're writing about, even if the particular situation has nothing to do with my life, your words feel sacred to me. That's so true of Cheryl. Cheryl, your words feel sacred to me and to so many of us. They hold me up. I have faith in my version of God, and I pray every day. And the way I feel when I'm in my deepest prayer is the way I feel when I read your words. If you achieve something in life where people feel like they're in their deepest prayer when they read your words, you're a very special human being. I'm sorry to interrupt with my commentary, but these words just strike me so much. I've never told you this because I'm not the type to write comments on websites or send fan notes, but I'd like to say it now in hopes that even if you opt not to publish this, you'll read it and receive my gratitude for the comfort you've given me. Number 6, I see a psychologist regularly, and I am not clinically depressed or on medication. Number 7, suicide has occurred to me. This is what initially prompted me to make an appointment with my psychologist. Given the circumstance, ending my life is a reasonable thought, but I can't do it because it would be a betrayal of my values and also of the values I instilled in my son. Number 8, I have good friends who are supportive of me. My brother and sister-in-law and 2 nieces are a loving and attentive family to me, and even my ex-wife and I have become close friends since our son's death. We'd been cold to one another since our divorce when our son was 15. Number 9, in addition, I have a rewarding job, good health, and a girlfriend whom I love and respect. Number 10, in short, I'm going on with things in a way that makes it appear like I'm adjusting to life without my son. But the fact is, I'm living in a private hell. Sometimes the pain is so great, I simply lie in my bed and wail. Number 11, I can't stop thinking about my son, about the things he would be doing now if he were alive, and also the things I did with him when he was young, my good memories of him, my wish to go back in time and either relive happy memories or alter those that are less happy. Number 2, one thing I would change is when at 17, my son informed me he was gay. I didn't quite believe him or understand, so I inquired in a negative tone, "But how can you not like girls?" I quickly came to embrace him for who he was, but I regret my initial reaction to his homosexuality, and I never apologized to him for it. I believe he knew I loved him. I believe he knew I wanted him to be happy no matter what path his happiness might take. But sugar, for this, and other things. I'm tormented anyway. Oh, how I relate to that, you all. We tend to focus on our worst moments, talk about this on this podcast, but boy, do I relate. Number 13, I hate the man who killed my son. For his crime, he was incarcerated 18 months, then released. He wrote me a letter of apology, but I ripped it into pieces and threw it in the garbage after barely scanning it. Number 14, my son's former boyfriend has stayed in touch with my ex-wife and me, and we care for him a great deal. Recently, he invited us to a party where he informed us we would meet his new boyfriend, his first serious one since our son. We both lied and said we had other engagements, but the real reason we declined is that neither of us could bear meeting his new partner. Number 15, I fear you will choose not to answer my letter because you haven't lost a child. Number 16, I fear if you choose to answer my letter, people will make critical comments about you at the end of your column, saying you don't have the right to speak to this matter because you have not lost a child. Number 17, I pray you will never lose a child. Number 18, I will understand if you choose not to answer my letter. Most people, kind as they are, don't know what to say to me, so why should you? I certainly didn't know what to say to people such as me before my son died, so I don't blame others for their discomfort. Number 19, I'm writing to you because the way you've written about your grief over your mother dying so young has been meaningful to me. I even printed out one of your columns and read it to my psychologist because it had such an impact on me. I'm convinced that if anyone can shed light into my dark hell, it will be you. Number 20, what can you say to me? Number 21, how do I go on? Number 22, how do I become human again? Signed, Living Dead Dad. And here is Cheryl's response. Dear Living Dead Dad, number 1, I don't know how you go on without your son, Sweet Pea. I only know that you do. And you have, and you will. Number 2, your shattering sorrow light of a letter is proof of that. Number 3, you don't need me to tell you how to be human again. You are there in all of your humanity, shining unimpeachably before every person reading these words right now. Number 4, I am so sorry for your loss. I am so sorry for your loss. I am so sorry for your loss. Number 5, you could stitch together a quilt with all the times that has been and will be said to you. You could make a river of consolation words, but they won't bring your son back. They won't keep that man from getting into his car and careening through that red light at the precise moment your son was in his path. Number 6, you'll never get that. Number 7, I hope you remember that when you peel back the rage and you peel back the idle thoughts of suicide and you peel back all the things you imagined your son would be but wasn't, and you peel back the man who got into the car and drove when he shouldn't have, and you peel back the man who your son loved now loves, and you peel back all the good times you had, and you peel back all the things you wish you'd done differently, at the center of that, there is your pure father love that is stronger than anything. Number 8, no one can touch that love or alter it or take it away from you. Your love for your son belongs only to you. It will live in you until the day you die. Number 9, small things such as this have saved me. How much I love my mother even after all these years, how powerfully I carry her within me. My grief is tremendous, but my love is bigger. So is yours. You are not grieving your son's death because his death was ugly and unfair. You're grieving it because you loved him truly. The beauty in that is greater than the bitterness of his death. Number 10, allowing such small things into your consciousness will not keep you from suffering, but it will help you survive the next day. Number 11, I keep imagining you on your bed and wailing. I keep thinking that hard as it is to do, it's time for you to go silent and lift your head from the bed and listen to what's there in the wake of your wail. Number 12, it's your life, the one you must make in the obliterated place that's now your world, where everything you used to be is simultaneously erased and omnipresent, where you are forevermore a living dead dad. Number 13, your boy is dead, but he will continue to live within you. Your love and grief will be unending, but it will also shift in shape. There are things about your son's life and your own that you can't understand now. There are things you will understand in 1 year, and in 10 years, and 20. Number 14, the word obliterate comes from the Latin, and I can barely see it through my own tears. Obliterari. O means against. Literari means letter or script. A literal translation is being against the letters. It was impossible for you to write me a letter, so you made me a list instead. It is impossible for you to go on as you were before, and so you must go on as you never have. Number 15, it's wrong that this is required of you. It's wrong that your son died. It will always be wrong. Number 16, the obliterated place is equal parts destruction and creation. The obliterated place is pitch black and bright light. It is water and parched earth. It is mud and it is manna. The real work of deep grief is making a home there. Number 17, you have the power to withstand this sorrow. We all do, though we all claim not to. We say, I couldn't go on, instead of saying, we hope we won't have to. That's what you're saying in your letter to me, living dead dad. You've made it so fucking long without your sweet boy, and now you can't take it anymore. But you can. You must. Number 18. More will be revealed. Your son hasn't taught you everything he has to teach you. Makes me think of Molly because she teaches me so much every day. He taught you how to love like you've never loved before. He taught you how to suffer like you've never suffered before. Perhaps the next thing he has to teach you is acceptance, and the thing after that, forgiveness. Number 19, forgiveness bellows from the bottom of the canoe. There are doubts, dangers, unfathomable travesties. There are stories you'll learn if you're strong enough to travel there. One of them might cure you. Number 20. When my son was 6, he said, we don't know how many years we have for our lives. People die at all ages. He said it without anguish or remorse, without fear or desire. It has been healing for me to accept in a very simple way that my mother's life was 45 years long, that there was nothing beyond that. There was only my expectation that there would be. my mother at 89, my mother at 63, my mother at 46. Those things don't exist. They never did. 21. Think. My son's life was 22 years long. Breathe in. Number 22. Think. My son's life was 22 years long. Breathe out. Of course, I can't help but think, but Molly, she only got 12. We always do this, this is a tangent, but we do this. I can't help but think he got 10 more years than Molly did. And I hate myself for thinking that way. I didn't mean to cry so much. I hope that I'm not completely depressing you all and you haven't left yet. Number 23, there is no 23. Number 24, you go on by doing the best you can. You go on by being generous. You go on by being true. You go on by offering comfort to others who can't go on. You go on by allowing the unbearable days to pass and allowing the pleasure in other days. You go on by finding a channel for your love and another for your rage. 25. Letting go of expectation when it comes to one's children is close to impossible. The entire premise of our love for them has to do with creating and fostering and nurturing people who will outlive us. To us, they are not so much who they are as who they will become. 26. The entire premise of your healing demands that you do let go of expectation. You must come to understand and accept that your son will always be only the man he actually was, the 22-year-old who made it as far as that red light. The one who loved you deeply, the one who long ago forgave you for asking why he didn't like girls. The one who would want you to welcome his boyfriend's new boyfriend into your life. The one who would want you to find joy and peace. The one who would want you to be the man he didn't get to be. 27. To be anything else dishonors him. 28. The kindest and most meaningful thing anyone ever says to me is, your mother would be proud of you. Finding a way in my grief to become the woman who my mother raised me to be is the most important way I have honored my mother. It has been the greatest salve to my sorrow. The strange and painful truth is that I'm a better person because I lost my mom young. When you say you experience my writing as sacred, what you are touching is the divine place within me that is my mother. Sugar is the temple I built in my obliterated place. I'd give it all back in a snap, but the fact is, my grief taught me things. It showed me shades and hues I couldn't have otherwise seen. It required me to suffer. It compelled me to reach. 29. Your grief has taught you too, living dead dad. Your son was the greatest gift in his life, was your greatest gift in his life, and he is your greatest gift in his death too. Receive it. Let your dead boy be your most profound revelation. Create something of him. Number 30. Make it beautiful. Yours, Sugar. So, my friends, I think you can see why I'm looking in my drawer for a tissue because I'm about to about to need to go and wash my face after all that crying. My goodness. And I've read this many times and it still always affects me this way. And so you can see why I wanted to name my podcast The Obliterated Place and why this work has had such a profound impact on me. I've been in my obliterated place for 5 years now, and I've been building out of all the unrecognizable bits and pieces and scraps that were left after my life blew up 5 years ago. That's where I've been, and that's where I am, and that's where I'll remain. Um, this podcast is an invitation to those of you who are also brokenhearted, who are also suffering a loss. And it could be any kind of loss because grief isn't just about death. I live with grief over my mother and my sister who are both living, but they are like ghosts in my life because they suffer from addiction. And I don't think I'll ever see them again. My mom, I definitely won't. My sister, I don't know. Every time the phone rings, and this has been this way for years, there is a part of me that wonders if it's going to be the call that I get that finally tells me that my mother has been found dead. So I understand what it's like to grieve someone who's alive. I understand what it's like to grieve a future that you expected to have and you didn't have. I went through a cancer battle that started when I was 39 years old. I had given birth to Eli just 6 months earlier when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I went through several really hard years. It's now been 9 years, almost 10. I'm really proud to have made it this far. And I thought that, we all have these moments in life where we measure from that moment, the before and the after, right? Um, so I always thought about cancer that was going to be my thing. It's like everything that happened before I had cancer and everything that happened after. Um, it turns out that experience that I went through with cancer was preparation for everything that I've had to go through since Molly died. And I don't think I could have been prepared or strong enough to go through what I've been through since I lost her, if I hadn't gone through that first. But those watershed moments, those times when something happens to us and you look around and you think like, how is the rest of the world just going on? Like nothing out of the ordinary has happened. When I just found out I have cancer, when I just found out my loved one has a terminal illness, when I just found out my daughter's not going to wake up from her coma. There are those moments. And sometimes it's a loss of a career. I lost my legal profession when I had cancer and I lost Molly. And I grieve the loss of that too. So we're all going through life the best we can. And particularly now, things are difficult for a lot of people. And I hope this podcast is a place for you, for everyone, to come and come into the obliterated place with me and share. I want to share other people's stories. One thing I don't like about podcasts, although I am constantly listening to them, as well as audiobooks, I I think they're very incestuous. I think podcasts often have on other podcast hosts and authors and people who are known. And I want to have on regular people. I run a group for grieving parents. I run a group for breast cancer survivors. I want to bring their stories to you. Um, I want to give them a platform to share. One thing I know is true of so many of us grieving parents is that we just want our kids to be seen and remembered, and we want to talk about them. People think they're making us sad or uncomfortable or something if they talk about our kids, and it couldn't be more opposite from the truth for the vast majority of us. We're always thinking of our kids. We want to talk about them. And this is going to be a place where people can talk about the ones that they've lost, and others can hear us, and maybe it won't be so fucking lonely for us. Because there's a stigma when you lose a child, it's not supposed to happen, right? Although Cheryl's correct that some people just don't live a long life. Some people are only here for a short time, sometimes even only a few minutes at birth, and their lives still matter, and they're still important, and their names are important, and their stories are important. And as parents, we want to share them. And I hope the Obliterated Place is an avenue towards reducing the stigma, and for all the people who ask, like, what can I do? How can I help? How do I avoid saying the wrong thing? Maybe just by hearing us and seeing us, you'll have a better sense. And the answer is there is really no wrong way of being there. It's just being there. It's just showing up. It's just not going away. And I'll tell you, 5 years later, a lot of people are still around, but a lot of people have gone away. And the same thing was true when I had cancer. There were people that in my life that just couldn't be there for me because it was too scary for them. I realized that later, even though it hurt me so much at the time, that people who were close to me couldn't be there for me. Even my parents, I haven't been close to my parents in a long time. And in some ways, maybe I never have been. But when I was sick with cancer and when I lost my child, my parents weren't there for me. They didn't come. I wanted them to hold me and take care of me. And, when you're sick, you just want your mom or your dad to just be there. And I didn't have that. And I didn't have that when Molly died. Neither one of them were there. And so I know what that feels like too. So this is a place for all the brokenhearted. It's a place for the normal people, the people who aren't celebrities or authors. Although, of course, we welcome you, celebrities and authors, if you choose to come on. But really, this is about trying to offer something, trying to, on the 5th anniversary of my daughter's death, to place an offering at the temple that I'm building for her that is meaningful and that has ripple effects and that helps other people in whatever way. Maybe we never know, and maybe it's just one person. I don't care about clicks and subscriberships and sponsorships and money. I'm blessed to be able to live a life of service, and this is just one of my ways of being of service to others. And I hope that you see me in that light and know that I will say stupid things. I will be inartful at times. I will put my foot in my mouth, as we all do, because we are all human. But know that I have pure intentions, and that my goal is just to put love and light and positivity into the world in honor of my daughter, and to give others a place to come and to be, and to share their stories and to be inspired, hopefully, to come into their own obliterated place. Because a lot of grievers stand off on the sidelines. Their lives are never the same after they lose someone, and they don't come back to life. I know a lot of people who are alive, like living dead dad, but not really living. So I hope that I can offer that as well. There's one more thing I want to read to you before we go. And thank you if you've stayed with me for this long. Before we go, I'm going to read to you an email that I sent to Cheryl Strayed, with my idea for this podcast. And of course, I wanted to get her permission. So this one's shorter than the first reading that I did. But I think it will help you to understand my thinking and why I am doing what I'm doing. Of course, now it's hard for me to go back. I'm really good at knowing what I want to say, or being able to kind of say it in the moment. Where I'm not good is with the goddamn computers. Okay, so hopefully we're still together. This is what I wrote to Cheryl. And, interestingly, I didn't think about this. I just realized this looking back. This was also on a meaningful day. This was sent on Molly's birthday last year. And I really struggled with what to write to Cheryl. I tried to write something several times and couldn't find the words. And this is what I sent to her. I said, "Dear Cheryl, thanks for following me." Cheryl followed me on social media, which was really an honor for me. And when I saw her recently, she told me that my words had a place in her heart, and that really means a lot. So I said, "Dear Cheryl, thanks for following me. I hope it's okay that I'm reaching out. I have a question. Please bear with me as I share a bit of background. Our daughter Molly was killed nearly 5 years ago when she was just 12 years old. She'd be celebrating her 17th birthday today. It's more difficult than usual to put one foot in front of the other. Molly has 2 younger brothers. Falling apart hasn't been an option. I needed to keep living even when I wanted to die. Your example of being in the obliterated place, creating something from the unrecognizable remnants of a life lost, helped me to ride waves of grief that threatened to pull me under. I eventually landed on the island of my obliterated place, where I remain, building a magnificent temple to honor my girl. Without even knowing me, you beckoned me back to life." That is the power of writing. That is what inspires me to write. Before Molly died, I battled breast cancer. Before that, I was a successful lawyer. Against the odds, I attended college and law school. I'd have dropped out of high school, but for my high school English and history teacher, Mr. Haggard. He knew that I came from an abusive family. My mom is an addict with severe mental illness who's been unhoused for the past decade, and he helped me chart a new path. We're still close over 30 years later. In January, our town of Pacific Palisades burned down. Our community resembles a war zone. My Palisades friends will, I think the name The Obliterated Place will mean something to you, since our town looked like an obliterated place, and still does in some respects. And I hope to have you all on too. I really want to talk about the loss that our community has experienced as well. Back to the letter. I've always been an alchemist, transmuting what remains after destruction, creating something new, hopefully infusing the innocence, love, and light that was lost, building with broken shards that make my hands bleed. I've often said that I'd write a book one day. During cancer treatment, Molly would say, "If you don't get to finish your book, Mom, I'll do it for you." I write, but my life is chaotic and overwhelming. I rarely sit still. I posted my drafts on Substack so they'd live somewhere in case I don't have much time. I don't take that for granted anymore. While I was on Substack, I noticed a podcasting option. On a whim, I started recording. People had encouraged me to start a podcast, but I don't assume there will be time. I've learned to just start, messy and imperfect. It went pretty well until I had my first guest on, which is when I realized I needed tech support. As it happened, my guest, whose son committed suicide 2 years ago, was starting a podcast. I hired the same company to handle tech and help me develop what I'd started. Finally, my question. When I told the podcasting firm about myself, no longer a corporate lawyer, now a mom, in her obliterated place, endeavoring to build something worthy of her daughter, they thought The Obliterated Place would be an interesting name for the podcast. It uniquely and perfectly describes where I am. It's why your words stayed with me and I mention them. It's a place to invite the brokenhearted in. It's taken a long time to write this. I feel lame. I hope that you take my request in the spirit in which it's intended, with great respect and admiration. I attended one of your workshops at the Omega Institute. I returned home with a new perspective on writing and the human experience. I won't be offended if you don't want me to call my podcast The Obliterated Place. I hope that whatever it's called, you'll consider coming on as a guest one day. You're one of my favorite people. With love, Kaye Steinsapir. And Cheryl, she immediately wrote back that same night. I hope she won't mind that I read it. I don't think she will. She said, Dear Kaye, our daughters are 3 years and 1 day apart. My daughter Bobby will be 20 tomorrow on 10/22. What are the odds that our daughters would be born a day apart? I first met you online through your sweet Molly when I read about her death. I am so sorry for your tremendous loss, dear heart. I love seeing your posts, and I'm in awe of the ways you've kept shining love and kindness to others despite your great sorrow. I'm fine with you calling your podcast The Obliterated Place. Just please credit the column when you explain why it's called that. It gives me deep gratitude to know my words were helpful to you. Providing consolation, insight, and comfort is the best thing art can do, and I'm sure you'll do that with your podcast. I am always rooting for you. Thank you for your kind words. Love, Cheryl. So that's it, my friends. I hope you're still with me. That's what I've been up to. That's what I've been creating. This is why I've been creating it. And so I welcome you in. I welcome you into the Obliterated Place. Thank you so much. We'll have guests. If you want to be a guest, please reach out to me. Again, this is a podcast for real people sharing real stories. I know, especially when we've lost someone, it means a great deal to be able to say their name and to talk about them and share stories about them. And I believe it helps other people as well when they hear us talk about them. One of the proudest things that I remember, people sent me all sorts of messages in the time after Molly died. And one thing I'm really proud of is that there was a guy who wrote to me and he told me that he was in his 50s and that he had lost a brother as a child. And that his parents had been so destroyed by the loss of their son that they could never talk about him. And as a result, in the household, they just stopped talking about him. They didn't have photos up of him and kind of just pretended that he hadn't been there. And so this gentleman had grown up that way, and he hadn't talked about his brother, even with his own family, even with his own kids. He didn't talk about it. And I don't know, somehow he stumbled on me and Molly, and he told me that for the first time that he had photos up of his brother in the house, and that he was talking about his brother with his kids. And that made all the difference to me. And that is why I do what I do. And that is my goal and my intention for this podcast. So if you want to share about whatever has broken your heart, whatever that moment was that defines your before and after, write to me. We have an email, theobliteratedplace@gmail.com. I'd love to have a time where we can share things that people write in. I'd love to have people on who want to come on and share their stories directly themselves. And feel free to comment. When you watch this or you listen to this, feel free to drop the name of someone you've lost or something you'd like the world to know. So with that, I will say goodbye for now. I'm excited to be back with you soon with my first guest. And I think the way I'd like to do this is, I'll have a guest and then I'll have a time where I come to you and talk about a subject. And also feel free to give me ideas for things you'd like to hear me talk about. But um, and we'll alternate that way. I think with people who are local in LA, we'll meet in person, we'll record live. For people who are not local, we'll do it on Zoom. Um, but however it comes together, it will come together. And I'm so excited and I'm so honored that you have decided to be on this journey with me in whatever way we've connected, whatever's brought us together. I believe nothing is random with the billions of people on this planet. If our paths have intersected, um, if Molly's path has intersected with yours, even even after she passed from this earth. I'm so grateful and I'm so honored, and I can't wait to see what we do together in the Obliterated Place. Thank you.